Welcome everyone to today's webinar. I'm Rory, co-founder and CEO here at Trumpet, and I'm super excited to share what our team have been busy working on for over a year now. I'm going to give everyone another minute to join because we have a jam-packed agenda. But before we get started, I do want to say a massive thanks to everyone for giving up time to learn a little bit more about Trumpet today, but also to our customers, many of which are on this call, from Gong, HubSpot, Personio, and others. Thank you. This wouldn't be possible without you and the feedback that you've shared. We are very excited to help bring our vision to life with Copilot and some of the other releases you'll see today in terms of helping you build better buying journeys and centralizing your entire customer journey. From prospecting to deal progression, onboarding, and beyond, how can we help you create a single source of truth to internally collaborate, AEs, SEs, CSMs, but also externally collaborate throughout the entire engagement and relationship with your champion and the wider buying committee? That is all possible with Trumpet today, but Copilot and a couple of other additions are going to make that quicker, easier, and more consistent. Let's take a look. In terms of the agenda, we're going to look at Trumpet's MCP server, our MCP client, Copilot in action, and Canvas. You might be wondering, what is Canvas? And I'm not going to share any more now. I promise you it's worth the wait at the end of this webinar to see how powerful it will be. Let's kick off with our MCP server. So I know everyone listening on this call has probably used Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, but also tools like Gong and Glean. They have their own MCP client where you can connect an MCP server to it. The way I think about the difference, because some people are probably thinking, client server, what is the difference? I think of a server as a way of serving information from one tool to another. A client is the one that's on the other side of that. So it's hosting, collecting, and making sense of that information. Our MCP server is live and can be connected to any of these tools. And what that means is we can send all of the information in Trumpet, so the insights analytics for a specific pod, the insights and analytics across all of your pods summarized, how your team are using Trumpet, trends, gaps, risks, you name it, all of that amazing information in Trumpet can now be queried in something like Claude. But at the same time, as you're seeing I'm doing here, we can ask it to create pods using templates. Looks like Claude has searched HubSpot and now it's creating the pod. Shouldn't be too much longer. And then we'll take a look at our MCP client. But what this does, our MCP server, it means that you can basically create workflows, pull information, do anything Trumpet-esque elsewhere in your other tools as well. Awesome, we're good to go. So we've got this pod, which we're going to use for today's webinar. But before I come on to that, I'm just going to jump back to the editor. We're now going to look at our MCP client. So when you now head to your settings, under your AI settings, admins and account owners can manage any MCP servers you want connected to Trumpet. There are a bunch here that are coming out of the box. There are a whole bunch more coming soon. And you can enable these, disable them, and add your own custom ones too. Your team will then be able to come in, request access to any of them, or connect them, enable them as well, depending on the permissions set. What this means is in our Copilot, which you're going to see in a second, all of these tools can feed into it to give it context. There could be conversations from Slack, a deal page in Notion, a deal in HubSpot, or a call recording in a conversational intelligence tool as well. So without further ado, let's look at Copilot. We have this pod, which was created by our MCP server in Claude, as you just saw. And now we can check out our Copilot. We built Copilot to help you search anywhere for anything across Google Drive, Slack, Notion, to be able to build anything in Trumpet. So that means create a pod, edit a pod, update a pod, and much more with Canvas, which you'll see soon. And then also analyze your pods. Are there things that are missing? What are the trends? Are there risks? Are there gaps? Is it losing momentum? Are there stakeholders who drop their engagement? All of those three things are possible simply by using natural language. Being able to search anywhere for anything means looking at your CMS and Trumpet, pulling directly from one of our call recording integrations. In this case, it looks like it's Gong. I won't bring up any calls for GDPR reasons, or using any of your connected MCP servers. For ease of today, I'm just going to drop in a transcript as a document, a PDF, and I'm going to give Copilot a really simple prompt. And actually, I want to do it on our next steps page. So I want it to create a map using this cool transcript. Always fun typing with the pressure of everyone watching you, but I nailed it. So now that that's happening, it's worth noting that was a very simple prompt with one piece of context. I could have asked it to do 4 or 5 other things, but I can also ask it to do other things in another chat. You are not restricted to having one chat at one time. So I'm going to take that same transcript and I'm going to ask it to create, there we go, made a mistake, create an exec summary using this call for a CFO. Cool. I've now got both of these chats happening at the same time. And that is the beauty of Copilot. You can feed it any context, an attachment, MCP server connection, a call recording, and you can ask it to do anything because Copilot has context of the entire Trumpet editor, every widget, every setting, every capability. So you can give it any prompt so that you can spend less time building in Trumpet and more time collaborating with your customers. Let's check in on the other chat. So you can see that they're both working on their requests. And what's actually happening in the background is there is a suite of agents executing these tasks. We have a sales agent, a mutual action plan agent, a timeline agent, an agent for CS use cases, and about 30 other agents too. What will then happen is on the left-hand side in the editor, where all of our widgets live, we will see being built live those widgets. So my hands are in the air. This is live. This is real AI in action. We can see we've got this mutual action plan being built before us. It's adding groups. It's adding steps. It looks like it's also adding dates and assignees. We all know mutual action plans are a great way to drive accountability, visibility of who's doing what when. Sometimes people just don't have time to build them. Now, there's arguably no excuse because Copilot does it for you. It is worth noting that, oh, look, there we go. It's building the business case up at the top as well, the exec summary. But it's worth noting that you don't need to build everything from scratch. You can add any widget and any page to Copilot as context. So you could say, I've got a mutual action plan. Can you add to it because I've had this 3rd or 4th call with that account? And it will go and execute that for you. If you have someone new to the team who's just using Trumpet, they don't need to be an expert. They can just ask it to do anything that's in their mind, whether it is renaming a page, moving the widgets around, changing the background color, or even editing some text or a table or something like that in Trumpet. They do not need to know how to use Trumpet. Copilot will do it for them. I'm pretty happy with that mutual action plan. And then we're going to give Copilot another second. In true AI style, sometimes it can take 10 seconds. Sometimes it can take 30 or 60. It depends on the size of the ask. But once it's done that, you are not restricted to using what it's created. The purpose of Copilot is to draft information, customer-facing assets for you. With any of this at any point, I can use AI to further edit it. So we can see here, we've got this exec summary, which is just finalized. I can highlight that text and I could make it more specific for a CRO rather than a CFO. Or I could get it to rewrite it in French if I wanted. You can pretty much do anything in Trumpet now, thanks to Copilot. But it doesn't stop there because I said that you could search anywhere for anything and also analyze. So with those two, what if I wanted to add some content to the pod based on what's discussed on that call? Well, let's take that one use case for a quick spin. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a prompt. So now we're going to search the CMS and add 2 financial services case studies that are relevant based on that same call transcript. Now you can see I am using the call transcript for a lot today, but that's where all of that rich information happens. There is so much that's shared on calls that helps move the needle. We are in a world though where buyers only spend 5% of their journey on a call. So how can we take that and use it to create more tailored, more personalized customer-facing workspaces? So it looks like it's found a couple of case studies. So it's got Body HR and it's got a HubSpot one, and it's going to go ahead and add them. This is just searching our CMS. If you have Google Drive connected or any MCP server, Glean and others, it will also be able to search there too. As you can see, I didn't need to go and look through our CMS and kind of dig through all the folders or search by tags or anything like that. I'm again using natural language to find content that lives in our world and to then be able to surface seamlessly, quickly with customers. We can't wait for you to get your hands on Copilot, but it doesn't stop there. So right now I've been using agent mode, which is to make changes to build, but we've also got something called ask mode. So if I jump to this pod here, ask mode is where you can ask questions about the pod. Are there gaps in terms of what you've added to it? Are there risks in terms of the insights? So here I'm going to ask which stakeholders have engaged the least. I could jump to the insights and I could go and do some of that analysis just looking at the data, but within 10 seconds, I've instantly got that summary for me. So these are, don't worry, these are all fake people, GDPR compliant in this case. But here we can see that no champions also been identified and only 2 of the 14 stakeholders are active. So I need to prioritize this person who's senior with low engagement, which is a pretty good next step. That kind of question could also be asked in Claude. That's what our MCP server does. You can use those natural language questions to query your pods or your entire team's usage. Right, to recap, you've now got an MCP server with Trumpet. You can connect any of your other MCP servers to Trumpet's client. You can use Copilot to search anywhere for anything, build, edit, update, analyze, and finally, Canvas. I said that you can build anything. And that's true because Trumpet fortunately has a whole bunch of widgets, collaborative ones like file sharing, mutual action plans, over 65 integrations, also being able to share content, whether it's embedding a website, uploading documents, PDFs, videos, PowerPoints, you name it. There is a lot. But what if we don't have something that you want to create? Maybe it's a Gantt chart, maybe it's a competitor table, maybe it's an interactive pricing suite. That is why we released Canvas Widget. Canvas Widget allows you to very simply vibe code. For people that don't know what vibe coding is, it's giving AI a natural language prompt like this one here, where I've asked it to build an ROI calculator, and it'll then use HTML to create something that reflects that. So here I've asked it to build a calculator, and I've also asked it to match Stripe's branding, because this example pod is for Stripe from Acme. The problem with, not a problem, but one thing to consider when your team are maybe vibe coding, landing pages, or similar, outside of a tool like Trumpet is there is no consistency, there is no visibility, there is no control, and there's no analytic. There are also security implications. Fortunately, with Trumpet and Canvas Widget, all of those are addressed. Every pod in Trumpet is created with a template, so you're instantly guaranteeing consistency and repeatability from day one. By using Canvas Widget, it is then supported by all of the other assets and customer information that your team have been putting together. It is then in a secure space. It is on brand in terms of look, feel, fonts, color palettes, and it is still interactive, but also tracked. You will get analytics on whether people have viewed this widget as well. So we can see it's delegated, this build to our Canvas agent. We have a whole suite of agents in Copilot. Our sales agent, our CS agent, our mutual action plan agent, our timeline agent. I think there's about 30 more. And all of those execute every kind of task imaginable that you can think of, whether it's making a small design tweak, a layout change, or something a little bit more tailored to a pre or post-sales use case. But what we'll now see is on the left-hand side, any second now, it'll then add a widget. There we go. I don't know what it's going to look like. Fingers crossed. I'm pretty happy with that. So we can see it's got stripes blue and it is interactive as well. To edit this, I can then continue prompting in Copilot. So for example, up here, I might want to remove this. I think it's an assumed logo. Maybe I want to remove one of these tabs. But that is the difference with Canvas widget and other widgets. With Canvas, you do have to edit with Copilot. With any other widget, you can just edit it directly in the editor. Now, you're probably watching all of this and thinking, this is amazing. My team are going to love it. But what if this could all happen automatically? Yes, that is what Copilot is about to unlock. You'll be able to create pods automatically based on triggers like, well, you can do this already actually, when a deal hits a certain stage, When a deal's closed, can we create a pod for CS so they can start onboarding the customer? But what if the call recordings could update the pod automatically and add that content automatically? Agents are live in Trumpet in our Copilot, but they're also facilitating what's coming up next, which is for you to be able to build your own agentic workflows. That is just one thing coming to Trumpet. We have so much more, and we cannot wait for you to get your hands on Copilot, on all of this, and share the feedback, because we absolutely love building Trumpet with you. I really appreciate the time that you've given up today. I hope this has got you all excited about the direction we're taking Trumpet in, what it can unlock for your team if you're already a customer. But if you want to get started with Trumpet, then we would love to speak to you and help show you what this could look like for your team. And yeah, if you have any questions, hopefully the team have been able to answer them in the chat. But otherwise, feel free to reach out to us. My email is rory@sendtrumpet.com. We're always happy to connect on LinkedIn as well. But a huge thanks to everyone that's helped us get to this point. And I cannot wait for you all to get your hands on Copilot, our MCP, and Canvas. Thanks for tuning in, and speak soon. Cheers.